Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And for those who don't know me, my name is Rona Toms and welcome to my channel. If you would like some scary topics, just keep watching because there's a lot of interesting things I'm gonna tell you. A lot of you may not know this, but my parents are pretty much having psychic abilities usually, but they're not practicing it. My own sister have psychic abilities, but not literally like third eye type of abilities, although my mom and probably my dad, a little bit of my dad, he does have psychic abilities. He just choose not to, and my mom choose not to deal with it. My sister the same thing, although her psychic ability is a little bit different. Pretty much my dad loves to talk about his experiences, and but this is not going to be about them, this is going to be about me. Okay, so since when I was around 12, I already developed a great interest in the spirituality and the occult knowledge and all these kind of things, numerology, astrology, the planets, the study of some planets. Ever since that age, I was already into it. So I was secretly researching about it. It just feels so mystical, knowing what's on the other side and also knowing what is beyond of what we can see. I used to love reading auras, palm reading, tarot. Ever since that age, I was doing a lot of research, most especially in the astrology, also on the numerology. I never said to anybody that I was actually interested in these kind of things when I was a little younger. It was unexplainable. It's so hard to explain to someone at some point. That's the reason why I just started to research these kind of things on my own. I just had even books about it. Most of the time I do experience more on sleep paralysis. For those who do not know, it is actually like you are basically going between our 3D dimension, which we are now, and also in the other dimension. Without a doubt, if you're having a sleep paralysis, most of the time it says you are an old soul. Now let me just start. The very first time that at least I remember that I had a paranormal experience. So let's get started. When my mom was pregnant with me, can't remember how many months pregnant she was. She told me while she was taking a nap, she saw like a black woman that was across her bed. My mom was laying down, and then there was a black woman and just across her bed, and it was just a figure, and it seemed like it's staring down to her. Okay, so was back then when I was 8 years old, around 7 or 8. So me and my sister, we were playing, little girls, we were playing dolls and stuff like that. We had so many toys, I remember that time. So we were just playing. It was late night. I think it was like, not really late. Maybe it was around 7, 8, 9 p.m. or 10. I can't remember. It was just night. While we were playing, I was actually the opposite of the window. We were sitting on the ground. I stood up, and while I was facing at the window, I can see my own reflection, but then there was someone beside me. It was actually a dark figure. Then when I looked beside me, I was like, who's that? There was no one. I looked back into the reflection. It became white. It became a white figure. So I got so scared. I moved away and I told my sister, can you please check something in the window there? Can you double check it? She was like, what are you seeing? So I told her, no, just check. Just check if you see something right there. She looked at the window and I told her to stand exactly where I'm standing. She stood exactly where I stood. She looked at the mirror and there's nothing. She told me there is nothing. That time I got chills. I ran all the way in the living room. My mom and dad were watching TV. I ran all the way to the living room. I told my mom about it and my dad about it, but because it seems like I was joking, but I wasn't. I was actually scared, but at the same time I was laughing for being scared, basically. And then after that, my mom was like saying, it's just probably your imagination. Oh, you're probably just playing around. Don't play around with me. I'm not playing around. I'm actually telling the truth. I just saw something. And my mom just brushed it off. And later that night, I brushed it off too. I continued playing, but I never sat in that area and I never looked in that window again. So the next one is I have one cat, and sometimes my cat acts so weird, as if she saw something most of the time. Sometimes she was like meowing at something that we can't even see. Like we were one time playing. There's it's just a couple of times. Sometimes I saw her playing. Sometimes I saw her watching at something while I was like looking at her. Basically, out of nowhere, my cat just stared into, like she was just gonna be like. Times, especially when I'm alone, even in broad daylight, sometimes it feels like you're being watched. So I don't know if I was just scared or it's probably true because they said when you feel that one, most likely you are being watched. All right, fast forward to when I was 13. This is actually a dream. Feels like I'm awake. It feels so real.
A few moments later.
It was a broad daylight. I was taking a nap because I was really tired at some point. I was sleeping in one side, on my left side. My window seems like it's open, and I saw a white light. It's like coming into my room. It was a huge light. It just slowly approaching me. And I can feel like it is sitting on my bed. But I was so scared. It was actually on my right side, and I was like, sleeping that way. I don't even want to look. But then I felt like a finger touched my chin or my face to look at it, to look at them. I slowly looked, but I really don't want to open my eyes because I was so scared of what's gonna happen or what am I gonna be seeing. But then when I kind of peeked a little bit just to see who is that, I couldn't see. It was just white, bright light. It kind of feels like it's telling me not to be scared. Just look at me. But I was scared anyways because I don't want to look. I always think something would be deceiving. I kind of told my father about it, and maybe an angel is visiting me because it is a bright light. While I try to peek, I suddenly woke up. It was so weird that I woke up the same position as if I was looking at something. And it was the most awkward position. It's like I'm sleeping like this. Right after that dream, or when I was trying to look at it, I found myself sleeping the same position as what I'm looking at. So it's kind of like it's true that I moved, and it's kind of like, what if it's real? That's why I was so confused if I really saw what I saw, but I was too sleepy, or it was just a dream. I don't know. I truly believe it's a message of something, but I just do not know. Alright, so fast forward in the future around 2012 to 2015, I moved to Bacolod, and this is where I stayed for the first time in the Philippines. Now, the house that we have is actually newly built, but it's not completely finished. So we just moved in anyways because I'm already there. The funny part about this house is that sometimes I hear there is a lot of tapping noises. There is a tapping on the window. There is a tapping on basically windows. I just shrug it off. I was thinking about it. What if it's just wind? What if it's just a tree? But then if I would look back at it, it was an actual tapping sound. It sounds like a nail tapping on to the window in some point that kind of freaks the hell out of me in some point, but I just ignored it because I was too busy thinking about something else and too busy with my actual life that I didn't really put so much attention to it, but it randomly happens. We smell random perfumes out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere. So at that time I didn't really put so much attention to it. I didn't really thought of it that it could be spirit itself passing by with a perfume that they used to use it, and I'm actually smelling it because sometimes there was an unexplainable scent that nobody even have that perfume. Sometimes I smell it out of nowhere, and then now fast forward, I start to realize it could be a spirit around during that time. Here's a little bit of a scary part. We're going to start going scarier now because everything happens in that house in some point of my life. It wasn't nighttime. I think it was around 2, 3 a.m. And me and my sister, we were actually already sleeping. And what happened is that my sister told me the next day she felt like somebody was actually tapping on her in her back. She thought it was me, of course, because we were actually sleeping in the same bed. She felt a little tap in her hand. It's like a finger tap, like that. And she was just trying to ignore me. She thought that I just wanted to talk to her, or probably because I couldn't sleep, because I have a habit of doing that. But then later, tapping would never stop. And then she kind of got tired of it. She was like, what? She didn't look in the back. She just asked, what? So she was expecting me to answer. She noticed I wasn't answering. So she was like, what? And I'm still tapping. And she felt like I'm still tapping. So she got so annoyed, and then she looked in the back. She said, what? And she realized I wasn't actually tapping on her back. There was a huge space between us. I was actually asleep, and I was not even facing her. I was facing the other side. She was the one who got so scared. She knew that it was something unknown that was actually tapping on her. It's not me the whole time. Logically, she knew it was so impossible that I'm the one who tapped in her back. It felt like there was a soul person or presence, and I just felt like it was laying in the back. I just felt like a very tight hug, and that tight hug seems so real. It felt like it was a guy who was hugging me, and I can feel the hands. I was actually sleeping like this, and I can literally feel the two hands wrapping around my wrist. And then I was like, I would want to move away because that scared the fuck out of me. It seemed so real. Like I couldn't see the person, but I can just feel the person. It seems like it was a whole minute, but I think it just takes only a few seconds, but it feels like it's a long time. After a lot of struggle, suddenly feeling is gone. It's like the person just left. I woke up like that. I just tried to wake up, but it seems like my eyes was already open. That when I was actually sleeping in the same position, right after I was back to conscious, considered like I woke up, you wouldn't believe what I just saw. I just saw like a hand, very black mist, just moved away. It's like a shape of a hand, just moved away, just right across. I tried to look like that, it was just gone. And I knew, I was like, what the hell did I just saw? Because I was clearly awake. Okay, now things are gonna get a little bit scary because this time I'm fully awake. To add into that, I was with a friend. It was around 1 a.m., late night. We were just hanging out in the house, talking, having fun, having a lot of conversation, and stuff like that. So I decided, you know, why not? Let's just go outside in the backyard and let's just have fun. Let's just talk there. I think it's just a little bit of a fresh air because it's a little bit cold. So I didn't thought much of it because I'm just new in the Philippines, so I do not know these things can happen sometimes out of nowhere. Those paranormal things does not really cross my mind. I told my friend, let's just go outside, let's hang out in the backyard. We went out, we sat down, and that time we started talking. Just a few minutes. It's probably 1 to 2, 3 minutes of talk. Not even, I don't think we even reached 5 minutes. You will not believe what we heard. We have a machine. I think it was a motor. It's kind of like a machine for, I don't know, what do you call that? Anyways, we do have a machine there outside in the backyard, okay? And remembering it, it's so unexplainable. We were talking, and then suddenly the machine seems like someone was tapping on the machine. The tap was it was like this. And then it was too loud. It was loud as if it was something, it's like construction happening. At first, we heard a little tap, and that was it. And we were thinking like, okay, it's probably something just fell on the machine. To add to that, it became even louder. I remember me and my friend, we just looked at the machine. We looked at each other, and then we stood up. We stayed calm. We don't want to freak out or anything. We don't want to run or something because I know if I run and get scared about it, she is going to run too. So I choose to stay calm. The best thing, she was also calm herself. We moved really fast. I can't remember if it already stopped making noises or it was still continuing. I can't remember, just for the sake that we were so scared that time. I can't remember if it stopped already. We went into the house. We didn't talk at all. We closed the door nicely, neatly, quietly. Then we went to my room. That's the time we started talking. I said, "What the was that? Did you hear that?" She said she heard it. And we could really explain what we just heard. I thought in the beginning something just fell out of it and it just makes some noises. But no, the tapping keeps on as if someone just did that. We couldn't explain. We said we're never gonna go back out again. It was 1 a.m. in the morning and we're still awake. It was actually my first time experiencing something that is unexplainable right in front of our eyes. It was loud and clear. I'm a night owl, so I am more active at night. So there was just one time that I was sitting on my laptop. I think I was on Facebook by that time. Right across me is my door. It's fully wide open. I was sitting down. The laptop is on my lap. The room is obviously dark, but my sister was just right beside my room. So that was the only light that was turned on in the entire house. It flashes a little light into my room too. And right before my eyes, I just saw seems like somebody just crossed in front of me, just crossed across my door and went to my sister's room. Just it was actually black, like really, really, really black. That shadow is wearing it's like a cloak. Because I saw something pass by, I looked immediately that I already saw a little bit of the remaining cloak entering my sister's room. That one, I thought I was like, wait a minute, am I sleepy or something? But I wasn't really that sleepy. I was completely awake. I was completely aware. I kind of blinked. I blinked a little bit. I just trust my instinct. It seems like I think something that really did pass by. Because I saw with my own eyes something was the remaining cloak. I saw it. So I thought there was something. I thought that there was a dirt in my eyes. I thought, okay, something is wrong with my eyes, or do I have dirt? Do I have maybe it's my eyelash? I was thinking it was my eyelash, but it was so impossible that it was so black and so dark. It's black than black itself. Another thing is, that is actually a sleeping paralysis. I've experienced sexual harassment while I'm sleeping. Then I remember that I was sleeping in my bed. I think I was, that was around the same years that I mentioned earlier. I was laying down straight, laying on my back, and I can actually feel a hand coming from my feet all the way up. And then I remember that feeling. I couldn't even move. I couldn't even move. I couldn't even scream. I couldn't even do anything at all. What I was experiencing, I cannot see anything. Like, I cannot see anything. I can just only feel, and I can feel the weight on the bed. The hand seems so real. It seems like someone actually is touching. But the difference is I can't even see who is that. So on that same night, because that's the scary part of the night, I had that sleep paralysis like the whole night, and it was so clear, it's so real. And after that harassment that has been happening, I felt like there are several souls flying or moving across the room. I cannot see it, but I can just feel it, and I can hear them. I heard a lot of whisper and a little giggle. It's like a female type of giggle. So I was laying on my back, still the same position, just feel all that, cannot move. That's the worst thing. You know that there's something going on. You know there are people around, flying around from my window and from my door all the way out to the window and coming in from the window, and they seem to be a lot. I can even hear whispers, male and female. On that same night, I kind of moved. I moved to my left side that I'm facing my door. So after when I see all the souls flying around, suddenly I saw a figure. But because it was standing right in front of me, just between me and my door, it was a figure kneeling down, just facing exactly to my bed. The difference is I cannot see the feature. It was a black silhouette. And the hair seems a little curly, kneeling down, looking at me. I cannot see anything because it was a black silhouette. So I can't see anything. It was against the light. It was against my bedroom door. I tried my best to really wake up, but I really couldn't wake up because I got so scared in some point that I closed my eyes because I'm trying so hard to wake up. So I closed my eyes. I opened back again. The silhouette was still there. But the difference is it became a white silhouette. Now this reminds me way back when I was 8 years old that I saw a black silhouette when I looked in the side and I looked back again, it became white. And that's the same thing that is happening to me when in bed. But the difference is it has a curly hair. Back there when I was 8, it seems like a straight long hair. And I try to wake up again and suddenly it's gone. Now the weird part about it feels so heavy. It feels like it's still there. I was in the same position. It's just as if I never slept the whole time. And then I stood up. I was so sleepy, but I don't want to sleep again and maybe experience that in a different way. And sat down for a little while. Stayed awake a little bit. I know when I go back to bed, I know that will only continue. Now, the other times, this is when I was awake, but this is not my experience. This is experience instead. We had a huge argument. So she was in my room. We had an argument and I just left. I went to the living room and I sat down there. I just wanted to relax. And then all of a sudden, I do not know why. It seems so weird. My instinct said that I should go to the room and see what's up with her. It was not normal for her to just stay there in the dark. So it was so unusual of her to stay there and not even go out. Most of the time I know her that she would just go out and after a couple of minutes. So I went to the room, I checked on her. I just saw her like she curled up and completely covered herself like she was so scared. And I asked her, what's going on? Why is she acting like that? She just told me that there was a kind of like a girl. She can see something. She said there was a person, a woman who was curling up like that, sitting on top of the closet. And she got so scared. And another thing also, someone was a lady or something that was standing in front of the door. It was like a white figure and she freaked out so bad. Okay, you guys, so this is the end of the video. I've mentioned 15 experiences of mine. As far as I remember, I have 30 experiences that I can count off. But now we just start at 15. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit the notification bell if you really love to hear more of that. I'm going to be making a part 2 for this video. It is going to be a little bit scarier and a little bit weirder and a little bit not just sleep paralysis but in actual life. So please stay tuned if you want to hear more of my story time about the paranormal things that I've experienced and also sleeping paralysis. But the part 2 is going to be a little bit more interesting. So stay tuned. Don't forget to please subscribe to my channel. I upload at least once a week or twice in a week, but I will always update you guys for it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you really like this video. See you in part 2. Bye.